Swag Sailor Show with Grace and Austin. Today we have a very special report.
We're going to be talking about the sailors in the Age of Exploration. We'll also get to interview our special guests, the Codfather and Sea Senor.
How exciting! Let's get started with a brief overview. Sailors in the Age of Exploration did not have it easy.
No, their living conditions were horrible. They had to live in cramped ships and deal with constant diseases and so much more.
Let's not forget about the terrible food they had to consume, or the fact that they worked for next to nothing.
Yeah, the sailing conditions were just as bad. They had to deal with so many different types of storms, rain showers, thunderstorms, and even hurricanes. And even during the winter seasons, they would sometimes freeze.
That sounds awful. They went through some absolutely brutal punishments as well, since being on a ship required discipline that was hard to maintain. I mean, they did need to become tough if they were going to live on a ship.
Yeah, their punishments were pretty harsh if they didn't obey. They included being tarred and feathered, swung overboard, and sometimes dragged underneath the ship.
I can't imagine what these punishments felt like. Half the time, the punishments resulted in death.
Yeah, something almost worse as the punishments is the food they had to eat.
I think we should ask the Codfather about his experiences with food on his exploration. Hello, Codfather. How are you doing today?
As long as I'm not being thrown overboard, today is a good day.
Well, let's get right to it. What was food like on your exploration?
Don't remind me. I ate all types of garbage. We kept all of our food in large salt barrels. We kept dried and salted beef, pork, and fish, and much more in these barrels. Sometimes we had to eat from live animals, and which we brought on board with us. Let's just say the food on the ship was nothing short of terrible.
Wow, that sounds awful. What did your daily life look like?
Well, there are many typical jobs of a sailor. Personally, I was a master gunner.
That sounds important. What is that?
Basically, it's a captain that oversees planning and executing crew weapons and related training. Daily tasks were checking the quality of gunpowder and storing the magazines.
Wow, that sounds important. Thank you for your time on the show today, and let's get back to the show. The Codfather's daily life sounds absolutely terrible. Should we interview Sea Senor about what his daily life was like?
Yes, I'm reporting live right now with Sea Senor.
Oi, matey, how's it hanging?
I'm doing pretty good. Let's cut to it. What was your daily life like as a sailor?
Well, let's just say it was very rough. I was a boatswain back in my days on the ship. One time I was working on the sails, and a huge gust of wind almost knocked me straight overboard.
Oh my, that's terrifying.
Well, another friend was able to help me get back to my feet, and that was it. But the scariest part of the experience was actually getting press ganged onto the job and the low amount of volunteers there were.
Well, what was that press gang you mentioned?
Well, there's a stupid law that allowed gangs to kidnap people like me, then force them to work on the ship. This was actually super common.
That sounds so crazy. Thank you for sharing. Well, that was a very thorough report on the daily life and trials of the sailors during the Age of Exploration.
Indeed it was. The only thing I don't understand is why sailors were even needed. What really was their impact and purpose?
Good question. Basically, sailors would go on boats to search for new land and explore. Along the way, they were paid through the looting of other ships and of other lands. This is why many people were either willingly or not sent to explore.
Wow, that actually makes a lot of sense. That concludes today's news. Thank you for watching.